Johnny, this is what the new Cuisinart pressure cooker is going to look like. You can see I've got it plugged in. I've got the cook pot sitting outside of it. And right now I am going to just put the cook pot in. You never want to cook it without the cook pot. If you do, you ruin it. And all I'm making today is I'm just making a chicken, so I have chicken broth and chicken for sandwiches. I just want to make matzo ball soup with the broth. That's not just, I'm just going to put in a little olive oil or a little canola oil. And don't fall, I don't have a recipe, so don't worry about what I'm doing. I'm just trying to show you the operation of the pressure cooker. But I'm just going to hit the menu button. And you'll see it's going to start off on low pressure. Then you hit it again, it moves to high pressure. Hit it again, and it's browning. And that's what I want, because I want to saute a few vegetables. Or I could saute them on saute, which actually is probably a better choice. So, okay, my veggies are done, and what I've done is I've put the chicken in there, and I did put the chicken on top of a silicone steamer basket, just because that's my preference. You could just dump the chicken in on top of the veggies, or I mean, you don't need the veggies at all, obviously. So it's in there. The pressure cooker has double lines now, which means that it's not doing anything. You might be able to hear it sizzling, but that's because there's some leftover heat. I'm going to try turning it around real quick to show you the condensation cup here. This is where extra liquid fluids may build up while you're cooking. I've never actually had any fluids in this, but that's where it goes. Your rice cooker may have one that's similar. So it's not something you really have to bother with. Just empty it out if it gets filled and rinse it out. So here we go. I'm going to add some water, and you don't have to add a lot of water to an electric pressure cooker, but I'm adding a fair amount here because I want chicken broth out of this so I can make chicken soup. I'm just going to dump in some water, quite a bit of it in this case, and that looks about right because I want a fairly thick stock. So let's see. Brain freeze. So I'm going to put the lid on now. Okay, so now the water's in. I'm going to put the lid on. And you just put it on like this, so that the pressure valve's in the back. And you twist it. So that's how it looks when the lid's on. And let me just do this. There's a little red thing right there. And when it starts reaching pressure, it's going to pop up. It's going to stay popped up. You don't really have to worry about it. It's just something you can see. Discernible way of knowing that it's at pressure. And then this little pressure valve thing here, you want to make sure that there's a round circle on this that has to line up. Sorry, it's a little dark here, I guess, for this. That has to line up with this white dot here, or gray dot on the lid. So you want to line these two things up, and you'll feel it kind of go down when you do that. If you don't line them up right, it's not going to come up to pressure, and you'll actually hear pressure being released. And if you hear pressure being released, you just turn it, and it'll pop back down. It'll come up to pressure. But you do want to set it right, or else you could boil away all your water. So there we go. There's the lid. Hope that helped. Sorry it's not brighter in here. So now I'm just going to set the time. I'm going to hit menu until, and mine started out at browning, so it didn't start out at 0. So this is where it would start off at low pressure. And then hit it again, it goes to high pressure. And I'm going to cook this at high pressure. And I'm going to hit, so that's the menu. So I just hit menu to go there. Still just hitting menu. Now it's at high pressure. That's where I want it. And I want to cook this because it's about a 4-pound chicken for 20 minutes. Okay, and you can see that the pressure the red light there is still flashing. That's a sign that you haven't hit start yet. Until you hit start, it's not going to do a darn thing. I've walked away from this thing more than once thinking it was cooking, and I forgot to hit start. So do hit the start button. When it's done, it's going to beep a couple times, and then it's going to switch over to keep warm. This little yellow light will light when it's done. And then it will gradually reduce pressure. That's a natural pressure release. So it'll keep your food warm, but it will gradually release the pressure. And that's what you want to do usually for meats, is to naturally release it, unless you're just opening up like a stew to put in some vegetables, and then you're going to seal it back up and let it go again. Because meat, my cookbook says meat can get tough if you do a quick release on it. So this one I'll do a natural release, but I'll also show you how to do a quick release so you know how to do it. You'll maybe do a quick release for your mashed potatoes or rice and things like that. Oh, and I guess I should say the clock isn't going to change until it comes up to pressure. So right now you can see it's still at 20 minutes, and it's going to stay there until it reaches high pressure, and then it will start the countdown. So the clock doesn't start until it reaches the pressure you've selected. So here it is cooking with 10 minutes to go. Just wanted to show if we can see it. The little red thing is up, and out of the valve there's just a tiny bit of steam coming up. You wouldn't want to get your hand too close, but it's not a lot of steam coming up, so it's just a gentle little bit of steam coming up. Okay, so a little while ago the beeper went off, and you can see it's on keep warm now. The little yellow light's lit, and I've let pressure come down naturally, and 20 minutes for a 4-pound chicken takes that into account. If you weren't going to have pressure come down naturally, you'd probably want to cook it a little bit longer if you're going to do quick release. So it really is, just like with any pot, just a matter of releasing the lid. Turn it, lift it up. Okay, so everything's done. You can see it's 0, and keep warm again. And this time, because I just have the bones in here, I don't have actual chicken that I care about tenderizing, I'm going to show you quick release. So this is where you release it, and you can do it, you can use a spoon or whatever, but you just don't want to get your hand near it because there's going to be hot steam coming out. So there we go. I actually usually use a spoon, so let me show you with this little spoon thing. There we go. It's actually easier than tongs. It's getting quieter and quieter. And then when it stops making noise, it's done. There. And there, the red button went down the rest of the way then. So now I know I'm just going to be able to open it. And